Welcome to the Thriving Immigrant podcast with Paul Adebayo. This is where we share powerful stories of resilience, reinvention, transformation, and success. So, whether you're a new immigrant, navigating a new life, or an aspiring entrepreneur looking for inspiration, this podcast is for you. Join me as we dive into real conversations with incredible individuals who have turned challenges into opportunities. Let's learn, grow, and thrive together. Cheers to a life of abundance. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another insightful episode of the Thriving Immigrant podcast. My name is Paul Adebayo. I'm so excited and honored to welcome my guest, a remarkable young man, Dr. Adebayo Fasanya, who is a pulmonary and critical care specialist. He's also an entrepreneur and is the visionary founder of Dr. Breathe Easy Capital. Such a beautiful name. From investing in his first multi-family property with his wife to now navigating or managing over 1,800 units and $184 million in assets, Dr. Adebayo is on a mission to boost financial literacy and empower physicians and champion, let's say, financial independence. So today's conversation is going to be about how he balances medicine, business, family as an immigrant in this part of the world. So join me in welcoming Dr. Adebayo Fasanya to the show. Hi, Dr. Adebayo. Welcome to the Thriving Immigrant podcast.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited about this.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm really interested in your story because I know from my research, I know that you are a Nigerian, you've lived in Nigeria, and at some point you were in Canada, and now you are in the US. So I'm really curious. Do you want to walk us through your immigration journey?
Yeah, sure. I love to. My immigration journey definitely defined and shaped who I am today, right? As a physician, entrepreneur, and a leader in this space. And I was born in Nigeria, like you said. And early on, I always knew I wanted more, you know. I mean, like most Nigerians, right? But for my future family and also for my community. So my mom actually lived in Toronto. She went there for school. She was able to, get her papers, and she sponsored me and my brother. So, I moved to Toronto around like 17 years old. And, it was beautiful, awesome. Everybody always imagine, going abroad and, going to school. But of course, it also has its own challenges, but we're going to talk about that. So I went for my undergraduate. I was actually already in my third year of veterinary medicine in Nigeria, University of Ibadan. And, when I got to Canada, I was like, I want to continue. They're like, no, you have to go to undergrad first. And so I had to start all over, really.
Oh,
So, but
wow.
thankfully, I was very early, right? I got to university at 15 years old, So I got, I was still around the same age as my friends, at the end. So did my biology, mathematics, double major in University of Toronto. And then I went to medical school in the Netherlands Antilles. It is Sabre Island. And after 2 years, came to the United States for my clinicals. So I was going all over the place. I was in Kansas City, Baltimore, New Jersey, also Miami, different states, to do different clinical rotations. And me and my two briefcases, I live on two briefcases
I can
throughout all this
imagine.
time because I need to be able to move around. So, but for me, I came from Mokola in Ibadan, where,
But
you know, I only, literally all I have, it was literally can fit in one briefcase. So, so it was not, too much for me. So eventually I marched into my residency in New Jersey, Overlook Hospital in Summit. Then I went for my specialty in pulmonary and critical care in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, that's a, quite a, actually I enjoyed it, but it's quite a journey.
I can
But,
imagine.
having said all that, I faced the usual hurdles, right, that
Hmm.
every immigrant goes through, right? Adjusting to different cultures, not just, you know, Canada, then the Netherlands Antilles, Caribbean, then in the US. And US is each state is like its own country. So it's
Hmm.
different culture in Kansas City, different from New Jersey, different from Miami. It's almost like I
Right.
was just moving to different countries, and you know, adjusting to systems, navigating system that you didn't grow up with, constantly feeling like you have to prove yourself twice as hard. And but those experiences as and build a kind of resilience in me that I carry on to this day. So, and after I made my way to the US for the medical training and practice, that's where the real shift happened. And that's when I started to realize that we as immigrants, we're very excellent at working hard, but
Hmm.
we're not always taught how to make our money work for us. And
Hmm.
that realization is what changed everything. So it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a journey.
Obviously, it must have been a journey. It looks like you've toured all the continents apart from few continents. So you started from Africa, moved to Canada, spent a while, and then do you want to speak a little bit about why you went to Netherlands? Is it that there was no opportunity at that point for you in Canada?
No, it's actually a Caribbean school, but it's Netherlands Antilles. It's like
Okay,
an island owned by the Netherlands, but it's in the Caribbean. So yes, when I was in, applying, I did a MCAT, and you know, I scored really good score, but the English part of it, so I have some issue with the verbal part of it. So, so the Caribbean school are a little bit more lenient
I
in
see.
terms of that. Looking at it, they see that you score like 14 over 15 in the physics and maths and all this other part, but you're a little bit issue with that part. So they were, it was good. So I was able to get in the Caribbean. So
Okay.
yeah. And that's another thing too. Many people will just keep applying 10 times,
Hmm,
to US or Canada, and in Canada there's only very few medical school too. It's
absolutely.
actually, I know many friends with 4.0 GPA with overall, they play piano, they're like a gymnast, and
Hmm,
yet couldn't get in. So, so I took my, I, take my bet. I decided to go to Caribbean. It's much easier to get in, but it's much harder to match into the USA. So you have to pick your poison.
hmm. Okay, interesting. Thank you for sharing all that.
No
So
problem.
you had no plan or you had no idea you were going to end up in the US. When you were coming straight to Canada, but you finally found yourself in the US.
Yes,
And I know, especially I have a lot of friends in the medical field. I know how competitive it can be in this part of in Canada, like you mentioned. I think, for example, optometry, for example, there are only maybe three schools offering that program in Canada. So it's very competitive. So it looks like it was a good move for you moving to the US. Now, do you still visit Canada? Do you miss Canada for anything?
absolutely. I do. My parents are still there. My sister is there. My brother is there.
Okay.
And my friends, right? Undergraduate. I was part of the U of T breakdance team. So I still keep in contact with our, with the group, you know. So yeah, my friends are there. So I will visit the I always get everybody to come visit me at least once a year. We also
Okay.
go at least once a year.
Do you miss our
Uh,
snow?
That's one thing I did not miss. I did not miss this though. In
It,
fact, I've contemplated coming back,
okay.
like I thought about it, like, okay, what if I live in Buffalo? and kind of practice 2 weeks in the US, 1 week in Canada, or something like that. I've thought about that to be closer. Um, but even living in Pittsburgh, you have to worry about snow, and even New
Right.
Jersey. So I moved to Arkansas in the
Okay.
South now, and I love it. I really love the weather. It's closer to what we are designed, right?
Oh, I
The,
know.
the Nigerian weather. At
Almost
school,
Ibadan standard.
yeah, so yeah, I'd rather fly over there and visit, even if I have to do it every month.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. So for you now, you are you still practicing medicine or you are a full-time entrepreneur?
Yes, I still practice medicine.
Okay.
I'm a doctor first. I'm a pulmonologist by training. I'm triple board certified, internal medicine, pulmonary, and critical care. And it's something I deeply love. Uh, so I'm not gonna ever really stop practicing.
I see.
But over time, I realized that practicing medicine is not enough, right? So I started looking around and seeing my colleagues, brilliant, hardworking people. They still
Hmm.
living paycheck to paycheck. They're
Wow.
burning out and they have little to show, financially after many, many years of practice, and sacrifice.
Hmm.
So it bothered me. So that's why I started educating myself more about money, real estate, and building wealth. So as I learned that, I couldn't keep it to myself. So at
You have
first,
to
I actually
share.
started the Dr. Breathe Easy Finance, which is a blog.
Okay.
And, I that was when I was still paying my loan and things like that. But then I kind of moved as I grew up and I became financially independent myself. I changed to Dr. Breezy Capital, which is then investing. So I launched that to help other physicians, especially immigrants and high income earners, to learn how to invest in real assets.
Hmm.
Uh, I finally experienced the freedom, you know, they behind. So today I wear both hats. So I'm a physician and an entrepreneur. So, but so honestly, I won't have it any other way. I will keep it, even if I have to work once a week, It's all about giving yourself freedom. Like
Right.
today I really don't have clinic today, but either
That's
way, I
why we
want
are
to
having
take.
this.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so exactly, so you have your, you have the time freedom. And it's not just financial freedom, the time freedom. It's
Right.
important.
That's a very powerful point. Yeah, because time is one of the most valuable assets that we have, and we don't know how much time we have left. So if you can maximize your potential and do everything in your power to give yourself time freedom, is one of the biggest things that can happen to you. So time freedom is very, very important. Right.
True.
So you've kind of talked about why you decided to start Dr. Breathe Easy Capital. And I'm just curious, how has it been for you since you started that company? What's your entrepreneurship journey like? Because for doctors, doctors are one of the most highly paid people in the world, even regardless of where you are, whether you're in the US or you're in Africa, they have one of the most secured jobs because it's rare to say, oh, we are firing a doctor. I know there are compliance and some regulations around it, but sometimes that can prevent people from being hungry. But in your case, you still founded your startup and you are doing well. How have you been able to manage it? Because there are some unique challenges that entrepreneurs go through. How have you been able to keep yourself going since you launched Dr. Break Easy Capital?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. This is actually one of the most commonly asked questions. Um, so like I said, you know, if you there is, there's a saying that I used to say salary is the bribe they give you to prevent you from chasing your dream.
Mm,
You know, I might not have said it exactly the same way,
yeah.
but it's basically, no matter what you do, unless you're like Steve Jobs or someone who makes, salary that is like, almost in the hundred millions of dollars. If you employed even as a physician, it's very difficult to reach financial freedom, even with that
Hmm.
high income. I mean, I started, I could be honest, started with like $350,000, right? Of course, at that time I had like a $300,000 loan. My wife also has like $70,000 from nursing school loan. So we're looking at this, and immediately I saw the salary. I was so excited. I was like, wow, man,
Wow.
I made it. I'm rich.
Finally.
That's it. And everybody will look at it and look at you like, man, what's you complaining about? But by
Exactly.
the time I pay the tax, then I'm left with maybe 200K between 401K and everything. So
Hmm.
then I'm like, okay, still good. Then you pay every bills and then you pay the minimum that payment on your loan. And the next thing you know, you're like, why am I only have like $10,000? So I don't understand. you know? So it was actually very difficult. So then I was putting so much effort into paying the loan. Anyway, so I already knew that I need something else. So that's why. And also, I love real estate, real asset in general, right? We're Nigerians. We love physical things that we can touch, right?
Hmm.
And hold. My parents, no matter how much I tell them I have, I can say I have millions of dollars in stocks. They'll be like, okay, good job. But when they come over, I show them, I drive them to the properties. I'm like, look at this one, mine. They're like, good
Good
job. This is
job. Good
the real
job.
thing. So for me, I always know that this is it's not that one asset is essentially, I mean, I believe it's a little bit better than the other, but you could make it in either one. So that's why I started that. And also I wanted to help other physicians, achieve financial freedom. So for me, it's not in the beginning. I actually did not do it to really make money by itself. It was just something that evolved over time. I
I
was buying
see.
my own property. I would buy my own 8 units, and then I bought another 8 unit, and I would do it to somebody or a few people. So that's how the syndication started. Then eventually become like, okay, what about 24 units? Then we bought 376 units.
Wow.
It's just even spiraling out of control
Hmm.
for me. I'm like, what is happening? This is becoming a real job on its own. And then I, develop operations, portal, website, and things like that just to, make it a real business after a while. I'm able to do both. Number one, I wanted, then my goal then became to reach financial freedom quickly so that I can actually stop working as W-2. I was
Hmm.
able to achieve that in the end of 2023. So I quit my job,
Okay.
right? And then I started my own clinic. So
Beautiful.
that's how, also Arkansas Lung Center is owned by me, as you can see. So that's allowed me, I hire people, I can manage it, I show up, I can move my own schedule around. So to me, that autonomy is very important. Ability for you to be able
Absolutely.
to be a man of your own, decide, make decisions. And I know it's part of our, uh, it's a part of our personality, you know. I know that for me, Yoruba, you know, we're very like that, even Igbo, we love to own. And then, so yeah, so that's me being able to do that was a big deal. So then, I'm like, man, if I can achieve this, other people can do the same. So
Right.
then, and then I will have a system, right? I built systems around it so that as I'm
It's
standing
easy.
by you, we have a 127 unit in Houston that we're trying to buy now, but I'm not the one doing the groundwork, right? I have an acquisition people, right? That is going to work on the acquisition. We have people, the investor relations, talk to investors. I talk to investors too. I love that part. And
Okay.
then there are people that do the underwriting. There are people that would do the asset management. And then we have a management, a manager, right, that will manage it. So you don't exactly have to do it. You just have to learn how to use people, effectively, how to partner effectively. So all those things come later. You can start by yourself, but eventually build a system so that it's not messing up your quality of life. So I'm able to do both, and it's not affecting either one. Private practice gives you flexibility. And real
Yes,
estate, it's not all the time that you're so active in the real estate too, right? We're only doing
correct.
one deal so far this year. You can choose to say, okay, I only do one deal. They can do two deals. They can do three deals. You can say, I'm not going to do any deal this year. Nobody's going to force you. So it's, so I think I like it. I mean, I enjoyed. It's like it's been a blast on both sides.
Wow, I love that. It's been a blast. Okay. So you are a business owner all around. So you are not just like a regular medical doctor getting paycheck. So you've built your own company. You are the CEO of your clinic, and you're also the CEO of your real estate investing agency, which is very, very inspiring. As an immigrant that moved, I don't know when you moved to the US, but achieving all these things in this short, whether short or long while, is something very remarkable. And I'm sure you are proud of yourself. You should be.
Thank you.
You made some points about real estate and stocks, and I understand the importance of diversifying your investments. Like you cannot just say, okay, I want to stay in stocks, I want to just only build wealth in real estate. In your case now, you are like a specialist in multi-family units. Are there any unique advantages or benefits that you can only get in multi-family units? Because I know a lot of people invest in real estate. Some just do the regular single family homes or townhomes. Is there something that a lot of people don't know about multi-family units that can that you know about that you think somebody should learn more about right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to clarify one thing first. We are actually a real asset company, not a real estate company. So
Okay.
real assets. So basically, even in real estate, we do have self-storages. We have about five self-storages. We have a boat storage. We have two luxury senior living.
Oh,
We do oil and gas deals.
I see.
But like you said, the predominance though, yes, it is multifamily. The reason for multifamily, few things. I mean, people always need a place to live. And I believe that we're becoming more of a rental nation, right?
Hmm.
Based on the fact that people's income is not keeping up with inflation, and people's income is not keeping up with ability for them to buy a home like it used to be, 50 years ago.
Ago. That's a very
So
valid point. Hmm.
so people are going to need more multi-family than they will need single family. Number two is economic of scale.
Okay.
Economic of scale is that, believe it or not, I have right now, I still have some 8 units that I bought in the beginning. And I'm actually trying to sell them. I sold one. I'm about to sell all my smaller units. I'm actually spending more time managing the smaller units than I'm spending managing the bigger units. It's
Interesting.
very interesting, and it's very difficult for people to understand that. So one is the fact that when you want to do something for the higher unit, you're able to hire a professional manager,
Hmm.
right? And you're able to also hire them for less. An example is my 8 unit. I'm paying 10% for a property manager. And this property manager is very good, but it's not like a professional that give you report every week, meet with you every week, give you like a whole, plan and everything. But it's still taking 10%. But in the 376 units, we're paying about 4%. 4%, and this 4% give you a highly professional management team, which I only need to spend 1 hour every week with this team. So I meet with them 1 hour, like the whole team meet, and they have a list of 23 things they need to show me. Occupancy, delinquency, you know, give me all that. Eviction, give me all the list, and then we'll make a plan. By next week, they already fixed, say we're going to fix 3 units. By next week, they already told me we already hired these people, we already did, everything is just all smoothly going. But my 8 units, they still call me, Manager started to call me and say there's a leak and there's a water and there's this, so I don't know. I feel like I have to still manage more
Right.
despite that. So, so that's the economy of scale. Also, you get things for cheaper.
Hmm.
You get the management for cheaper. You get insurance as a group, right? If a company knows that you're getting insurance from them all the time, they give you a little bit of a break.
That's
If they
true.
know that you're buying floor, we use the same color of floor, right? Almost every property. So LVP, so if you're going to do it, say you will go to the same place, even we have stores that give us discount for, dryer, washer and dryer, because, we have when we buy like 30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so this economy of scale is actually cheaper. And you get more profit, in my opinion. Another thing is when you're selling a single family, it's dependent on the buildings around you.
Hmm.
So if your house, if your property in the area is going for 200, dollars per square foot, it doesn't matter. You can put pool, you can put marble, gold, you know, and you can do whatever you like. At the end of the day,
The
it's not
price
going
of
to
the
increase,
neighborhood.
yeah, it's not going to increase your value that much.
Yeah, it's not going
If
to
you
be
go
very
to a class C
significant.
area, yeah, if you go to like a, class C, which is more of a, um, borderline safe, not really that safe area, and you went and built the most beautiful property, you're going to still sell it the same way as others in the area. Whereas multifamily, it's based on the income, net
Hmm.
operating income. So if you can raise your rent high enough, if people love your own better than the one beside you and pay higher rent, you can sell it for higher price, regardless of what is selling beside you or around you. It's all about the numbers. You also, with multifamily, you're dealing with more professionals. When you're analyzing and sending offer, everything is very more professional. You write a whole LOI,
That's
send it in.
correct.
I like the transaction. It's much smooth, like, okay, we understand, you understand. Single family is just different. So it just depends on where you want to play. I mean, there's no also cash flow. I personally don't find single family to cash flow. Also, the risk is too high. If that person move out, that's 100% vacancy.
Hmm.
We have a 127 unit now that about 30 of them is empty, right? And yet we're
Yeah,
able to pay the bills.
yeah,
You know,
the impact is not as strong as the impact of single
yes,
family home vacancy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are just one I remember. There's a
Yeah,
lot of reasons.
and I agree completely. Those are very valid points. And thank you for sharing that. It's been a quite enlightening conversation. I've learned a lot from all these things you've mentioned. However, does it mean there are no risk involved when you are investing in this kind of units? Are there any risk
Of course.
compared
I
to
mean,
single family homes?
um, there's risk on both sides. I think I will not say the risk is more than single family. Um, Probably the risk really is the fact that you're putting a lot more money
Hmm.
into multifamily, and if you lose, you're losing a lot, right?
Cost of entry.
So yeah, cost of entry. So let's say in a single family, you buy for $400,000, you only put 20% down, so 80,000, maybe 100,000, with closing fees. So if you're going to lose money, you're probably going to lose 100K.
Right.
And then the bank will take it. But if you go and buy multifamily for $3 million and you're putting 600K, to 800K down, and it's your own, it doesn't matter whether it's your own money or investors' money. But if
Hmm.
you do it and you lose, the effect is much more pronounced. You could be shut down completely now. And the next 5 years, you'll try to lick your wound.
Hmm.
So, so that's what it is. But then the advantage, though, is also the fact that in syndication, you don't have to come in as a general partner. So you just come in as a limited partner. So you just invest as as part of the limited partner so that you are not actually standing on the loan, as an investor, versus if you buy your own property. If you go and buy your own single family, if the bank comes and they cannot retrieve all their money, they can come after you personally. But with multifamily, some of the loans are also non-recourse loan, which means you're not using yourself as a personal guarantee. You're using
Yeah,
a company.
a
So
company.
that's how, very prominent people that I shall not mention their names are able to
That
bankrupt few companies, and yet they're
they are
still
still doing
running.
well.
Yeah,
I,
so it doesn't, so you're able to remove the liability a little bit from yourself. So yes, with every investment, there's risk, and
absolutely.
the more return you want, the higher your risk overall. People can tell you all this in low risk, high return. Very rarely do I find that. Uh, if I want higher return, I will go and find a broken down property, like it's almost closed down by the government, like it's literally inhabitable.
Hmm.
And you buy for cheap, you fix it up,
And you
you sell it
sell
for higher price. But that one is higher risk because now you have to hire people. You
to
can
fix it.
find mold. You open it up and then you find things that you didn't find, a giant sinkhole. So, there's many things that can happen, but you took the higher risk for higher return. Or you can buy a property which is class A in a very nice neighborhood, you know, beautiful gate, gated community, but the returns go below
Hmm.
because you're paying for that stability,
Good.
so you have to also decide for yourself what kind of risk you want to take. So, yeah, there's risk to investment. You always assume you can lose the money that you put in any investment. That's the first cardinal rule.
Thank you for mentioning all those things that you guys are into. I was thinking we're only into real estate, but there's something you mentioned that I really find interesting, and I wanted to speak more on that. The senior living. How promising is the senior living homes right now? Is this something you guys really do?
Yeah, I mean, luxury senior living, it's gonna be a huge thing in the future. One thing, we call it the silver tsunami, right? So silver for the air, silver air. And the tsunami really is there's more people, more baby boomers that's going to be retiring more than the economy can even sustain.
Oh,
Like
wow.
there's been debate of how do we have even enough people working to be able to sustain them?
That's an
But the good
opportunity
thing though,
there.
yeah, but the good thing though is that they actually do have money. So the baby boomers went through, many of them bought houses and they're going to be selling them, so they're going to, have money to spend. So that money, it needs to be transferred to the next generation.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so you have to decide how can you get some of this? So
How can
how
you
can you
position
get,
yourself
yeah, you have to position yourself for this transfer
strategically?
of wealth. So they're
Hmm.
not just going to give it to you unless you have a rich parent. So you need to offer
A
something for them.
service.
So luxury senior living was a good one because, like for example, especially the cultural people and people from abroad. I know this to be true in Nigerian community and even many of the Asian community. They don't like to put their family, their parent into a nursing home.
Yeah, the
Okay.
regular nursing
Yeah,
home.
nursing home, and because they don't get taken care of properly. But a luxury senior living is almost give you a pass, where it's a nice environment. They have a piano class, they have a Tai Chi class, they have a very good ratio of nurses to themselves or someone, a caretaker, that if they help them out, faster. When they press a button, it's not like they wait for hours, somebody reach out to them. So if you do that, there's a market for that. And some of
Wow.
these are renting for $10,000.
A month.
So think about that. And these are cash. So, what you need to do is do feasibility study
Okay.
to find the area where the rich people with retirement money, income, and is high income is, and then build one there. We have one in Wentville, Missouri. It's like by St. Louis and O'Fallon. Those are the two that we have. We partnered on that one. So those two places have very high income earners for some reason.
Hmm.
So, and they were paying, and and for many of these, you only need about 40% occupancy to break even.
Oh,
So
can you say that again? 40% occupancy to break even?
yes. So
Wow.
yeah, like multifamily, right? You need to get to 65%, 70% to really, break
Break
even.
even.
And then your profit is really in the keeping it at 90% occupancy, right? But that, it's operationally more difficult than multifamily, obviously.
Of course.
Think about it almost like running an hotel
Hospital. Okay,
or
hospital.
hospital or clinic. So
Yeah.
it's big business of its own. So you have to have a very, very good management team
Right.
to do it. And however, the profits can really be significant. The market is
Absolutely.
there, though. The market
Hmm.
is there. I really do not believe we have enough right now. I don't even think we have half of what we need
Wow.
because, I mean, they're going to get older. I mean,
Of course.
some community are building some, in my area, there are some few buildings for 50 plus over, just regular house, it will be like single family homes, and they make it like 50 and over, 60 and over. So some people are
Hmm.
making a modification of that, where they all live together and there'll be more amenities for them,
I know.
because we need to be inventive. Otherwise, there's no way we can keep up.
Wow, this is a very insightful one that you just talked about. It is such a gold mine because that population is growing. As they are growing, that market is growing as well, and it's like an exponential growth. Of
Yeah.
course, you made very valid point, but the one that attracted me most is that 40% occupancy to break even. If you, that's that's a big deal. It's like, I don't know of any other business. Maybe, of course, I don't know about every business, but 40% occupancy rate to break even is a no-brainer. Is a
Yes.
no-brainer. Wow. I
That's
think
what
I,
we're seeing in ours, in the two that we have.
wow.
I mean, I think most of it has to do with, I mean, you don't always have to have, such a high occupancy. So it just depends on who you're catering to, right? Business
Exactly.
is always like that. Like, for example, if you choose to open up your business to high-end people, then you know that you don't need to be
You don't need so many
yeah,
of them.
right? If you have a course and your course is $1 million, right? You
You
don't
just
need
you just need
too
10
many.
people.
You only need few people, and you can put all your effort into them. So that's what it is about luxury senior living.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that everybody is taken care of,
Oh,
and you
yes.
have enough staff to do it,
Yeah.
rather than just the volume. You can play the volume game in the
The,
government one. If you want to play, use Medicare and by insurance, then you can play the volume game on that one.
that's correct. And the thing about the rich guys, people who can afford that, of course, they are comfortable. They know themselves and they're going to tell themselves like, oh, wow, do you know where I live right now? You may want to bring your parents here. So even sometimes it might even be the choice of the kids. Like maybe if my parents were living here, I don't want them to stay in the regular place. If I can afford it, why not? So thank you. This is something I want to do more research on. I'm going to reach out to you personally. So if you are listening to me for the first time and you've not subscribed to this podcast, please hit the subscription button. And if you know someone that will benefit from this conversation, feel free to share this with them. Dr. Adebayo has been sharing a lot of gems and I've been loving it. I'm learning a whole lot. I'm taking notes. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with me and the audience. Now, before I let you go, if for someone listening to you right now, a medical doctor making a lot of money on paper, but struggling to even keep up. I know the funny thing is people will not even listen to doctors when they say they are broke. And I know that you will agree with me that not every doctor is wealthy. They make a lot of money. Some of them are even in debt. So for someone that is a medical doctor that is trying to pay his debts or strongly with his bills, what are like some steps that you're going to recommend for that person? And it doesn't really have to be a doctor, but for someone listening to you right now, maybe living in this part of the world, making income, but still struggling to get by, what would be your advice to that person?
So, I mean, yeah, thank you. So, doctors, especially early doctors in their first 10 years, they fall into a category which I call Henry, Henry, which is high earners, not rich yet.
Hmm.
So, and that is a very tough place to be because you have this lot of, 100,000, 200,000, $300,000, even 500,000. And everybody, even your family members, your parents look at you like, man,
What are
I
you
mean,
using your money to do?
why are you not buying me a car? You know? So you have that societal
Expectation.
expectation. Yeah. So first thing I would tell people is to ignore that. I
Hmm.
know it's tough, I see people, oh, I'm building a home back home. I'm sending all this money back home. I'm doing all these things. Focus on yourself at first, in terms of if you focus on yourself and get yourself to a better level, you'll be able to help more people. And that's what I did. I said, okay, you know what? I have this loan. I need to attack it. So I attacked my loan. Like, I told my wife, we're not going to buy a house. We're not buying anything. We're going to use envelope method. We're using the Dave Ramsey, initially. You kind of use that, just pay the debt, and after we pay to a certain level, then I started using leverage more. So then leverage only in cash flowing assets. So if you're going to get more loan, you better get it in something that is going to improve your net worth, like real estate, right? So there's no other way around it. You need to live below your means. You need to basically, have a family meeting. I do that every month. And my wife, I have a PowerPoint presentation and everything. Like, look at where we are. We're like 300. Now it's $200,000 left of this loan. Sometimes it's crazy, but you have to do it. So you have to get everybody on board and tighten up. You know, increase your income too if you can. Just be like, okay, for this year, I want to pick extra shift.
Hmm.
This extra shift that I'm picking up is going to be going to the loan. This is not to buy, you know, a expensive gadget and, you know, or expensive car. I drove a Toyota Corolla, for the longest time until, after a while, people say, look, you're not Dr. Breezy Finance anymore. You're Dr. Breezy Capital, and I had the money, so I was able to get my, Tesla. But so that's the thing. So focus on it. Get rid of some of those debt, especially if your debt is above 5%.
Right.
Get rid of it. That's a automatic, return on you.
Hmm.
Very few
Hmm.
investment will guarantee you that return. Let's say your loan is 8%. Pay it off. That's 8% return automatically right now. You know,
Absolutely.
that's guaranteed. So for me, I pay that. And then, once you have money, more, I have some emergency funds, so just have at least about 6 months. And then, start buying, you know. So don't wait until you feel ready. Start learning with education right now. The earlier you understand the language of money, the better. Also, consider partnering with an experienced investor or joining
Hmm.
like a syndication or something of some sort, a mentor, where you kind of watch their, like this podcast would be a great one to start, you can, join our bi-weekly webinar, just kind of get your education, it might be a year, 2 years while you're paying your debt, and uh, risk adjusting yourself. And then finally, you try to either invest if you don't have the time to manage, or you can buy your own property too, cash flowing assets. Um, so you're going to make mistakes in the beginning. Don't let that deter you, is there? So, but you're going to learn, and real estate is great that if you have income coming in, at least you can save the deal, you
Hmm.
know. So you are the better place. And for real estate, if you stay long enough, you will be profitable. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of whether you can you can survive the
The waiting
the tough
period.
time. Yes, many people I look at their deals I want to buy, and I will look at it. I'm like, if they have just survived 6 more months,
They would
they will
have
have
made more money.
they will have actually be able to get through this. But
Hmm.
the pain is just too much. They will just sell. So anyway, so that's what it is. Decrease your liability, and start working on increasing cash flow and assets.
Wow.
So yeah.
This has been a masterclass. Thank you so much, Dr. Adebayo, for sharing all that. I would want to end this right now, but I've learned a lot from what you've shared, and I just want to emphasize some things. You talked about attacking your loans and your debts. Because one thing I've realized in North America is if you look at those loans, most of the time they have high interest rates, apart from maybe student loans. And the longer it takes you to pay your loan, the more money is going to cost you in the long run. Because sometimes you just realize that you're servicing the interest because the longer it takes you, the more money you use to service the interest. So if you are listening to us right now and you have a lot of loans or you have so many debts, make sure you are paying as much as you can. Just attack it so that you can enjoy that freedom and you can have enough room to start investing. Okay, so this is likely my last question for you. I usually ask my guests this question. What is the most powerful piece of advice that you've ever received? It doesn't have to be about investment or anything. It can be anything that you like to share with someone listening to you right now.
So, well, the best advice would probably be don't let fear um, borrow your future. So, like analysis by paralysis.
Hmm.
It's something, the reason why I say this is there are people, like this was like 2019 is when I really started seriously into this, right? There are people still at that same time, they were saying, oh, I'm thinking of jumping in. Maybe I will just learn a little bit more.
And they're
And
still
yet,
learning.
yeah, I still talk to them now. They still say, Bayo, I don't know how you did it. Oh. I say, yeah, that's because at one point I just jump in. So, so this is one that stayed with me. So many of us, immigrants, right, and professionals, we play it safe because
Hmm.
we're taught to avoid risk. So without risk, there will be no return. You can
Wow.
get a CD, but what are you going to get? 2%, 3%? So ultimately, you just have to adjust your risk, also based on your age. When you're in your 30s and probably some of your 40s, especially if you're high income earners, that's when to go all the
All
way.
in. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start an app, this is the time to start the app. If you want to start a company, this is the moment to start it. Don't wait until your 50s, when it's tough for you to recover, you know. So that's people do it backward. They try to play it safe and then they find out they can't really retire, they don't have enough money. And now they started to take more risk towards the end and then they lose the money and now they're left, bankrupt. So, try to take at least try to be educated as much as you can. I'm not just telling you to put all your money in everything you see, but at one point you have to jump. Um, so if you're staying comfortable, sometimes it's the biggest risk, if I want to just stay in the job, you can. You can just stay in the job, but then your salary is going to eventually be capped. So, so let's say you're as a doctor, you're a hospitalist, maybe you finally make it up to $500,000, right? But you're capped. And at that time, you're working maybe 100 hours a week.
Oh, wow.
You're working more, right? Because you can only exchange your time for money over time. So what you need to do is to literally find a way to utilize other avenues to make money, rather than exchanging time for money. And then so yeah, leaning into the fear, do not, not away from it. So this what gave me the permission to dream bigger and take bold and decisions.
Wow.
So yeah,
Those are
that
very
would be
powerful
my main
points.
advice.
Thank you, Dr. Adebayo. I really love everything you've said. As long as you keep exchanging your time for money, you are going to keep working for the rest of your life, regardless of what to do. So if you are, and I love how you mentioned, how you talked about people in their 30s and 40s, because the average age of my listener is, I think, 37, 38.
Yeah.
So You are speaking to a lot of them right now. So just the way I started my podcast too, and I'm excited about the growth. Thank you so much, Dr. Adebayo, for sharing your time, for sharing all those wisdom, your your experience and your challenges, because somebody has learned from it. Somebody is taking a decision right now by just listening to your story. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is where we are going to call it a day. But before then, if you want to connect with Dr. Adebayo, he is very active on LinkedIn. Just search for Adebayo Fasanya. And you can also check their website out. Dr. Adebayo, do you want to say something about how to contact you?
Yes, yes, I'm very active on LinkedIn. For some reason, I just love LinkedIn. Everybody's so positive there, and
Yeah, the
so
energy is
that's why I like
different.
it. Like, it doesn't matter what you post, it's always posting, great job, everything, I love it.
The energy is
Everybody,
good.
I've never seen a negative comment. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like I don't want criticism, but it's good to have some place where everybody's just trying to lift each other up. And,
absolutely.
and I love it. I try to post motivational kind of post every day, Monday to Friday. And also, we reply to almost every comment. And you can always DM us from there also. And then you can also, if we have some deals that we do, you can also see it. We're going to post it over there. And yeah, so yeah, LinkedIn is the best. And you can also join our investment group. You can find it on our website. I'm sure if you look at our LinkedIn enough, you'll see a place to go to our website over there too. So that's about it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is where we're going to call it a day. If you are listening for the first time and you've not subscribed, please hit the subscription button. Share this episode with 3 people that you think will benefit from this conversation. Till I come your way again, have a wonderful time and stay thriving.